I don't know. I mean, I also, for me personally, so I feel like the dollar value is simply it's a sense of, it is a sense of authority. It is a sense of knowing how to actually get to that point. So the other thing that people, I guess, like, have the ability to consider, and it always just comes down to your outlook your perception on a situation. You know, like someone can look at that and be like, oh wow, that's like fuck you, screw you, whatever. The other person can look at that and be like, well,
Hell
okay, this person has managed to go from this to this. They are literally telling me exactly how they did it.
Yes. Oh, I have
It's
no.
like this is the thing. So you put out that much information through your social media, through your podcast, through coming on other podcasts, that it's like you're not saying this number to brag about it. You're saying this number to be like, hey, I have this authority point because this is where I'm at right now. Yeah. If you're below this point and you want to get to this point and you have a similar story, a similar situation, or you feel like you can relate to me, this is how we can do it. Yeah. And I know because I have already done it. Yes.
Yeah, and honestly, I had people help me along the way with my business. Like, I'm not going to lie, I didn't do everything by myself. Sure, my business I built by myself, absolutely. Like, there's no one else that, I am Mariah Jean. That is the business, right? But, like, I've had business mentors. I actually put my ego aside and hired one and had one for 6 months. I paid him a dick ton of money. Like, I'm talking, like, money that you would just be like, why? But I would rather spend money on that, knowing that, okay, now where he actually taught me to take my business now, that's literally why I started doing business coaching myself, right? Because I got to a point where I saw coaches in the industry flailing, like suffering and flailing and giving too much out and giving too much away and not valuing themselves was a big part of that. Also not being willing to upskill. They don't want to learn more. Like, I'm in the middle of study right now, full-time study, because the second that my clients get to my level, I have to level up. Yeah. I have to keep going. I have to actually further my education and further my skills. And that's all a part of it. But yes, you're 100% right there. I don't share this type of information with people about my business because I want people to look at me and go, oh, wow, she's, so affluential and she earns, so much money for a 29-year-old. I mean, fuck, I could lose it all tomorrow. Honestly, someone could raid my bank account and lose it all tomorrow. Someone could steal my car. Like, I am very well aware of the idea that money is temporary because you can't take it with you when you die. But it's a reflection upon hard work, for sure. I do think so. Some people come into money as well. That's fine, different circumstances. But if you want to look at, instead of looking at people who are successful and go, I wish I was like them, fucking go hang out with them. Go have coffee with them. Literally put yourself in their circle, because that's what I did. I didn't necessarily try and hunt down millionaires, but I was like, what does that guy do? How did he become successful in what he does? I'm going to go learn from him. What does this person do? What is this person's tactic? That sounds interesting. I'm going to try that. Like, a lot of my methods that I currently use, even with just the way that I produce material as well, even things like my check-ins with my clients, I went from doing typed check-ins, answers, and I'm talking, I was like writing giant paragraphs, right, to doing voice recordings. And I found out that was my lost calling, because now people get personalized podcasts from me. And my clients hold out for those. Mm-hmm. They love them. Yep. Now, I took that from another coach who literally told me, I do voice recordings. Oh, yes. Put my pride away and went, you know what? Fuck it.
It's a good idea.
Let's try that.
Fucking good idea.
Let's try that. What's the worst thing that can happen?
No one wants to freaking sit there and read for a bunch of time and feel like it is something that is generic. Like, I don't know. I mean, personally, I feel like, yeah, that would be awesome to receive.
People absorb information from an audio or visual perspective far better than they do from a written. It's actually proven.
Yeah, I mean, again, majority of things that I try my best to limit content that I watch as much as possible, or things that I view as much as possible. And there's only like a couple different people that I actually listen to. Yeah. Just because I wholeheartedly trust and believe in the information they put out there, the things they say. And literally all I do is like, I just listen to what they say, take little bits of it. Yeah. Try and apply it to what I'm doing, try and apply it to what the people I'm working with are doing. And then that's pretty much what I've been doing. And this is where we're at. It's literally just like not trying to force myself with like all this like overload of information from a million different sources, or anything like that. It's literally just like picking a few people that I genuinely believe in and like and respect what they're doing, listening to the things that they're doing and the things that they've done, and then just trying to implement little bits and pieces with my own spin and doing that little crossovers between, you know, the two or three of them that are there. I don't know. That's just kind of what I found is useful.
Honestly, people look at business and they think that they have to come up with original ideas for it to have some sort of weight to it. I think the only thing original...
When was the last thing that was original?
Right? Because you can't now. Like, you know, I mean, you look at TikTok, for example. Like, people think TikTok is super original. Mate, it's just shortened YouTube. Like, and it's just, you know, it's short videos. And because people's attention spans are shorter than ever now. Like, I'm surprised if you actually have made it this far through this podcast. Fuck yeah. Thank you for listening for the rest of
Oh, yeah. I mean, whoever actually listens to these full episodes, you are the real people out there. And
MVP.
100%. Like, I don't know. Like I said, we're trying to do like soundbitey stuff now, so that way, because you know, Kimmy wants us to be on like platforms like TikTok.
Yeah.
But I have it installed. I don't use it. I refuse to use it. It's just
I'm the same.
I don't like the platform. I don't like the company. I don't like the content.
No.
I don't know. Again, maybe I'm old school, but I actually want to make something that's visually appealing and has like a psychology backing in the content and the message it's trying to deliver. I don't want a 5-second vertical fucking dance.
I honestly have really struggled to conform to this whole reel thing. And you know what? In 10 years' time, we're probably going to look back and be like, you know, wow, like what a time in our lives that was. You know, just like MySpace. But I don't have TikTok either. Like I actually don't have it on my phone. And I also have social media time limits as well. So something will tell me when I've used it for more than an hour a day. Now, obviously, my whole business is run on social media, so it's very difficult because I have to be quite present on it. Things like Instagram. I hired a virtual assistant. Like, I hired somebody. Oh, my God, it's the best thing I've done in so long. I hired someone that I pay to run my social media for me. And that doesn't mean it's not me. I create the content. Like, I'm still the person behind the screen. I'm still the person giving the content.
We have a Kimmy.
Right?
Kimmy, if you're watching this, you're amazing.
We love you.
We love you.
Yeah.
God.
Also, Carol. Shout out to my girl, Carol.
Hells yeah, Carol. I heard a lot about
She's
you
honestly
today.
amazing, though. She's
Hopefully you like the content.
Content is gold. But this is what it comes back to as well when I talk about the support networks. You know, when we were doing really not well mentally, we needed people to help us out through those situations. We needed those mentors like you did when you started boxing. Like, we needed people in our life to be of a support network of some sort to us. And you know what? It doesn't actually have to look the same for everybody. It could literally be like, you've got a cleaner and they come and clean your house once a week because that person, you know, takes some of that respite, like gives you respite from cleaning.
Hey, I mean, 100%. Like, to be honest, this is the other thing. Like, when it comes to everything, say at the moment, like when it comes to working stuff, I will 100%. I would rather like take some of the money right from a job and pay that to a crew member, a staff member to come in. Not only to help me out, because it means that I can focus on, you know, talking to my client, making sure they're having a good time, making sure that things are set up properly and all this. But it also means that I've got that extra hand in case something goes wrong. I've got that extra hand in case I need something else done. But for me, there's nothing that, like, the feeling that I get knowing that I've got, you know, one of my friends out there or someone that I know who is so passionate about creating content, so passionate about getting into this and doing this, and they want it to be their life. The feeling that I get when I can be like, hey, we got a job.
Yes. It changes everything.
Like, there's something about writing a paycheck for someone, for me at least, that it's just like, I don't give a shit about how much money is going into my personal account. Like,
no.
I just, like spending money on, like, having other people feel like they're being part of something and they're growing and they're developing with something, amazing. And like spending money on, say, like a business coach, like, you know,
investing,
like, business coaches, courses, things like that are very driven to the industry that I'm in, and just trying to develop on that, so then I can apply that information. Well, I can share that sort of like that, my version of that information with those people I'm bringing in, and then we can try and apply that and find context where that works in this industry. And then you start bouncing different ideas off different people, and then you just start to grow into this concept. It's just, I don't know. There's something that's
The best
addictive
businesses,
about that.
the best businesses are partnerships. Like, honestly, like if you were to look at the stats, partnerships are the most successful businesses where there are two or more involved. So doing it alone and going solo, I have to admit, the 4.5 years that I went solo where I was part-time and full-time, like it was a combination of both, man, that was an uphill slog. Like it was. I recently hired another coach as well. Now, mind you, she only takes the overflow from my capped clients, right? So currently where I am, I'm like right on capped. And, you know, a couple spaces will come available and then they'll fill up again. A couple spaces come available and they fill up again. Like, and I have no desire to push for clients, even though for some fucked up reason they come anyway.
Hey, it's a pretty damn good place.
It's a great problem to have. But like, honestly, you know, I now get messages saying, do you have spaces? Like, can you fit me in? And I'm like, oh, you know, but return clients, 100%. Like I would do anything for my return clients because I know that, hold on, I've worked with you before. Like, you know my shit, let's go. You know, and I get a lot of that. I get a lot of people coming back where they take a break and they come back. And I believe that love and kindness should be free, right? As in like free. There are no cages, there are no binds. So when you have coaches that are like, you are mine forever, that's just shit, right? Like, don't do that. Don't be that coach, right? Let them go for a bit. And trust me, if you're really good at what you do and you apply yourself and you're confident in what you do, they come back. And they do.
Hey, sometimes people just need to sort their shit out.
Honestly, it could be anything. Medical, finances, you name it. It's not you though. Like coaches who internalize their clients' issues, they got to go away and work on themselves, right? Like if someone's having a problem external to coaching, that means that it actually impacts their ability to follow the plan to such an extent where like, okay, they might have to refinance their mortgage. Don't push them. Oh my God, are you a trash human? Stop. Let them go, you know, like fuck your minimum term. Let them go deal with their mortgage. And guess what? This is an interesting business concept, right? Honestly, it is. Because it comes from just be a good human, right? Because like I was
going to say, like, what the interesting concept is that people like good
be
people.
A good human. It's a good business. It's a great business concept.
People like nice people.
Biggest tip, be good. Yeah. It's crazy. Secret. Whew. I listened to this thing the other day and it was like the way that you leave people is the way they remember you.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. You will not be remembered for the things that happened or the things that you did.
Maybe.
Well, yeah, but like nowhere near to like you can
the
change
impact
a lot
you
of
have.
That. Yeah, the actual impact is from
the second they walk out the door.
Just the way they get left feeling.
Mm-hmm. So.
And then, I mean, that does actually come from the full interaction. But sorry, I guess the way I was meaning that is like, it's not so much even like the delivered things or the things that they receive. Yeah, like the actual objects or the things they receive.
It's like a taste in your mouth.
Is very like insurmountable compared to just the feeling that they
it's like a taste in the mouth. The last thing that you ate is the taste in your mouth, right? So the last thing that you heard or the last thing that you experienced is going to leave a lasting effect. When my clients need to take a break or they need to go away, I practice nothing but drastic acceptance and kindness and love, right? There would be very rare circumstances. I probably have only literally had maybe 1 or 2 in the last like 5 years where, and it's actually when they don't have any communication at all and they just drop off the face of the earth. Now that's called ghosting. It's not okay. Communicate, come on. You'd be surprised how many...
It's all okay, man. Hey, no, I'm well aware.
You will piss me off if you don't tell me.
When I was younger, I used to like just ghost people because I was too afraid to face it.
No, but the interesting thing is like 2 things can happen when you face someone, right? One thing, you're telling them the honest truth. Hey, look, I can't do this, whatever. Now, the first thing that can happen is they can blow up at you. That says more about them than it does about you because their reaction is their reaction. You don't own their reaction. They own their reaction. You just gave them information. They reacted accordingly, however their brain decided to react. That is not the problem. You don't have to own it. Also, you're quitting. Why do you care? Like, you know what? You got to see them at the shops. Who cares, right? Like, or the gym. Awkward, whatever. Get over it. The second thing that can happen is that they're actually really nice to you. And that's actually a nice experience. And that can actually reframe your experience of, you know, giving people harsh information or the like. So I'm very neutral with this whole thing. Like I'm such a neutral person. You'll never see me, like I only blow up about things I'm passionate about. And it's funny because people talk about passion. They go, oh, passion, that's a trigger word. No, like I only blow up about it because it's really important. And I get really passionate about it because people treat it like it means nothing. You know, like nutrition. I can't tell you how much I hear that. I heard a fitness coach the other day. Oh my God, I swear to God, I wanted to say so many things. And she was like, nutrition gets a rap for being the most important, factor for your results, but your training is more important, or some trash talk about training being more important than nutrition, right? And I was like, for fat loss purposes, let me just take a second. It takes you 10 seconds, maybe 15 seconds to eat 300 calories. It takes you 30 minutes or longer to burn 300 calories. Now, the ratio is that nutrition is for fat loss purposes, and we're talking most people have got fat loss goals, is more important.
You know
it just
what I mean?
is.
See, I would even go the opposite side of that, because at the end of the day, like, your nutrition dictates how well you're able to train.
Yeah.
Like, if you eat like crap, or you don't eat enough, or
It's a
you
pillar.
eat foods that like weigh you down and make you feel sluggish, because again, you can eat not enough, you can eat way too much and feel sick. You can eat the wrong kinds of foods and feel sluggish, or you can eat the right foods and train optimally.
People ignore nutrition and they avoid it, and I'll tell you why. This is why people get so hyper-focused on training and not nutrition.
Because it's harder.
Nutrition is harder, and it's boring, right? People don't make nutrition exciting. They don't say fuck enough when it comes to nutrition. So nutrition is kind of like this guy with an apple standing in the corner going, nutrition, so interesting. Here's why. No, fuck that. Make nutrition exciting. Make it dramatic, make it emotional, make it something that people go, oh yeah, I get that.
You have like a recipe book, don't you?
I do. I've got it. Yeah, I do. Actually,
No, hit that cheeky plug. I want to hear about
look,
this
honestly, the recipe ebook doesn't get enough credit for how fucking good it is, because once you've actually got it, you're like, oh, what? This is what this is. It's 150 recipes, macro friendly, breakfast, lunches, dinners, snacks. It's all I eat. Obviously, when I eat out, I eat different, but like, it took
so
me.
you get a balance in life.
It took me
Having
9
delicious foods that you can eat and enjoy at home, so that when you eat out, it's not the end of the world.
It took me 9 years to write the recipes and to collate them, and honestly, I've eaten all of them. Right, so I literally based all my original business off this meal planning, using these recipes, right, and then adjusting amounts. The recipe ebooks are currently advertised as a make your own meal plan. It's actually not necessarily a meal plan it's not tailored, right, and I will wholeheartedly say that. It's a recipe ebook that you can use to get your nutrition back on track if you and this is honestly for gen population, who honestly, any sort of improvement on their current diet would be better. And the ebook includes enough fruit and veggies for you to be able to get your minimum intake in. And and fun food. There's bits of chocolate in there. There's actual.
I was gonna say, like, what are some of the highlight recipes?
Oh God. There's pasta. Like, there's pasta dishes. There's a cheesy chicken pasta bake.
Ooh.
There's
That sounds good.
like, people think nutritionists are like health freaks. Holy shit, no. Like, I love food, but I love every type of food that exists. It doesn't love me all the time. Like, honestly, too much bread, like, it kills me. But like, it's a love-hate relationship.
I eat way too much bread. My main carb source at the moment is bread. It consists of about 6 slices a day.
But the major reason why you see people having inflammatory responses to bread, and I'll tell you this, we've got 9 major different grains that we should be consuming, and wheat is one of them. So imagine if you were to just eat bananas flat for a whole day. Of course you're going to have digestion issues. The same rule applies to bread, is that, number one, obviously, some of the breads can be quite processed, but bread itself gets such a shitty rap, but like, and no pun intended, rap. But if you're eating a sandwich for breakfast, then you're eating a snack that has wheat in it, and then you're having bread for lunch, and then you're having another wheat-based snack in the afternoon, your stomach's going to say, piss off, give me something else. Because food variety, we need up to 50 different types of foods a week for our digestive systems and for our essential nutrients and things like that, for us to actually get enough of a variety across the board, right? And so most of you are not eating 50 different types of food.
I was going to say, I'm going to throw myself under the bus there. I know
just bread.
I know that. No, like, the sad thing is, I know it has actually been abysmal lately. It's just fallen off the fucking
You're not the
rails,
only
to be
one.
honest. It's like, like, shit, I'll eat like oatmeal twice, like pro oats like twice a day. I'll have like a chicken wrap and then, a couple pieces of fruit. And
that's actually not so bad. I challenge you.
like,
I challenge you to do this. Honestly, kind of treat it like each time you've eaten a food item, you can't eat that again for the day.
Fuck.
Right? Like, try that. Just try it for a while, because it actually forces you to try different things and to try to have more variety. And because our body, like if you can imagine if you were to give our body, I don't know, a lump of chicken breast, it accesses the proteins that it needs from that. And then if you give it more of it, it's going to go, you already gave me that.
Yeah.
I want something different. So as different sources of food, it's actually very beneficial for when people talk about gut health, like all this gut health bullshit. Like, stop your greens powder crap, all right?
Just eat some vegetables.
I don't know a single nutritionist who eats greens powder. Like, no joke. I don't, like, please tell me. If there's any sports nutritionists out there currently drinking greens powder, stop.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, I feel like it's not only, like, the fact of, like, the greens itself, but like, you've also got, like, the actual, like, the actual fiber, the fact that it's, like... Hey, how's it going? Hope you're enjoying this episode so far. Just wanted to take a second and ask if you could please leave a review on this podcast, and if you hear something you think could help someone else, share it with a friend. Word of mouth is really the best way to help these things grow. So please, thank you, and enjoy the rest of the episode. I don't know, I feel like...
Oh, vegetables? Yes, just eat the damn vegetables, for God's sake.
Same as like people who still think that juices are healthy.
Oh, I honestly, in one of my...
I'm hoping that literally no one in the world who would ever listen to this sort of podcast would ever still think that. But yeah, apparently it's still a common thing.
Look, the thing is that, and I actually did a podcast on this literally 2 weeks ago, good foods versus bad food myths. And the concept is that we don't actually need to put groups into healthy and unhealthy foods, right? Because as soon as we start doing that, it's a very black and white visual, right? It's like good, bad, good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. And then it's like there's no crossover. It's like...
I mean, I don't think that definites are generally... like, there's a few exceptions where, sure, you can have definites on things, but I think that definites are not really that beneficial in a lot of situations.
Juices are labelled and marketed as a health food, right?
Yeah, which is not good.
But they're very calorie dense. And we need to talk about foods in their caloric value, which is honestly a very numerical thing. Like it's such a... It's such an objective thing. Like it's just numbers.
The thing is, like, say Hayden today, right? Who was with me when I got to the gym. He had like I think through pre and intra workout at the moment, he's drinking like a liter of it's like prune juice. It's like a type of juice, or not prune juice.
Like pure carbs.
Legitimately, because he's like, what he's like, I'm not drinking Gatorade anymore. My coach has swapped me over to this. Because he's on like 4,500 calories a day and like 800 grams of carbs.
It's pretty much the same as, honestly, like, and this is the thing, right? Again, in the podcast I did, I'm going to plug my podcast.
Go for it.
It's called Fit Minds by Mariah Jean Fit space Minds, MINDS.
Nice.
Yeah. Because honestly, it's an extension of this stuff, right? And there's lots of swearing and there's lots of bullshit in there. Like, honestly, it's great. It's very, very brutal, very real.
I remember the first episode of this podcast where I censored it.
Did you censor it?
That did not.
I just dropped the F-bomb and I realized if you don't want to listen to the F-bomb, tune out. You know what I mean? Like, you're not for me.
Well, again, I kind of realized that, hey, if I do that, I'm kind of just suppressing my own personality.
Yes, correct.
So why the fuck would I do that?
It's very Australian to swear. Honestly, it is. I have to tell other countries.
Yeah, this is rather tame for Australia.
Yeah. Okay. I'm a girl, though. I mean, I think I've got a pretty potty mouth. But anyway, I think, on the topic of these health foods versus, in bad or good, or, healthy, unhealthy, whatever. The way that foods are marketed to us dictates the way we feel about them and the way that we see them. And you could look at, for example, things like juices. Like on the front of it, it's got this pretty picture of an orange. Like, oh wow, how healthy is that? It's an orange, but it may contain the same sugar value as 7 oranges or 11 oranges sometimes. Or how many oranges can I fit into? I don't know.
Yeah,
why are they doing that?
There's literally even some that like, well, because the thing is like, yeah, they'll have it and then they'll have like a little like number on it. It'd be like, this contains 7 oranges or 8 oranges, and people are like, yeah, that's so healthy, not realizing what that actually means. Like, you do realize what is inside of.
Do you know what's really sad, though, is that this all starts from a young age as well. Like,
100%.
We're not educating our kids in school. This is so basic.
Hey, a lot of the foods that I was taking stealing out of the cupboard and I was hooked on were 5-star health rating foods.
But in excess. Yeah.
Yeah. And, because the thing is, sure, they had really high health star ratings, but they still spike the absolute shit out of your insulin and kick in your cravings like fucking crazy.
But also, too, there's no satiety in them. Like, a lot of these carbohydrate, packeted foods...
they're calorie dense. They don't fill you up at all, and then they just spike ghrelin and they spike insulin and you make you want even more of them.
Yeah. The sure way to spike a hunger hormone. There's actually a few different ways to do it. if you've gone through a long deficit for a long period of time and then you've decided to refeed, you know, or well, technically refeeds I don't really support, but the idea of a diet break, a prolonged diet break. But going from a low deficit phase, so I presume in your situation you would have been deprived considerably with the locked cupboards. One sure way to spike your ghrelin levels is to deprive and then increase calories very quickly. And basically that tells your body, I'm getting more food.
I was going to say, not at that point, but when the binge eating came
Yes.
in, because that was after doing the massive crash diet for a year where I lost all that weight.
Yes.
You know, and it was like a 40, 50 kilo change while growing in height. And yeah, that's where I also got into the phase of like fasting and then binging.
Underfeeding.
And that was, I guess, 2 years of routine. 2 years.
It is, again, just keep coming back to that balance. If we underfeed our bodies and we decide that everything is either all good or all bad, how are we meant to find balance in that? And I always come back to the 80-20 rule with me. And honestly, I'm not a big rules person. I hate rules.
Yeah, the 80-20
food
rule
rules.
is generally a pretty good one to follow
80-20
in any walk of life.
I don't even like to give it an 80-20 label, but it really is just 80% whole food, 20% fun food. And I know that I'm personally eating for myself too many fun foods, not because of a body fat perspective, but when my immune condition flares up. When my immune disease goes ham, I know that I'm going a little bit too crazy with the fun foods. And that's things like saturated fats. That's a lot of the, if I have like deep fried chips and stuff like that. Like, I love chips, but it fucks with my stomach. It fucks with my bones.
Jesus.
Yes, I have an immune condition.
What the fuck's that?
I have an immune condition called psoriatic arthritis, so it's called PSA, and it's a primary autoimmune condition. I've had it since birth. I was only diagnosed at 16, mind you. So amongst all this other bullshit that happened to me in my life, I was in constant pain, and everything. Currently, I can tell you the pairs of joints that are aching are my ankles and my wrists, and my neck is for some fucked up reason deciding to be mean to me too, and it feels like you're being hit with hammers. Like, it's just an aching feeling. It feels like someone's hit my ankles with hammers. It's a condition where my body attacks itself, and anything can trigger it. You know, stress is a major factor. So if I go through a traumatic event in my life, I'll have a flare up. My psoriasis and my scalp just goes crazy. It's overdeveloped skin cells. Mm-hmm. It's quite embarrassing, really, but I'm past it now. My mother's body is covered in it, and I love that she's so confident in herself. Like, she has this scaly pink rash all over her body, and I also got teased really badly for her having that as a child, which is awful. You know, why did your mum look like that? I'm like, why does your face look like that? Anyway, so I face bullies with humor. It's great.
Yeah. No.
And so I get the psoriasis flare up, and my bones are really sore. And sometimes the only thing that works is to literally, my partner has to pick me up and put me in a bath or put me in a shower with really like boiling hot water to defrost and to get rid of the fluid out of my joints. I was on, this is crazy, 2 chemotherapy drugs. So I went through chemotherapy, 3 bouts of it throughout my life, and it started at 16. And I was told that the long-term effects of that would see that I wouldn't be able to have children. So, mind you, that's probably why the loss of my child was quite heavy for me, because I know that the after effects of that drug were pretty full on, and I'm still yet to face that as well. But this thing would flare up all the time, this condition when I got diagnosed at 16, and it's lifelong. You can't cure it. You can only treat it with, and honestly, the research into it, if you guys want to have a look at it, or even donate to people with, psoriasis and psoriatic arthritis, there are still only 2 drugs that exist to treat it, and they're both chemotherapy drugs. And they both, with long-term, short-term use, one will immediately make you infertile. Like, you're guaranteed within the first year or 2. That's it, done. The other one, long-term use. So obviously that wasn't the long-term solution. I did 3 bouts of that, and my hair was falling out as well. I was getting all sorts of fucked up reactions to it, and it was making me really sick and really lethargic. So that's why I missed most of year 12. And I didn't tell anyone. I was so ashamed. I was like, oh my God, I've got this arthritic condition, which makes me feel like an old woman.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell anyone. I didn't talk about it for years and years and years. But I live with it every day. And most of it is my diet and my exercise. That's how I treat it.
I mean, it's one of those things. Like, I mean, I grew up with like really bad like eczema. You know, until I was hospitalized multiple times for that. And it wasn't until I actually met someone with psoriasis, because I had never even heard of it before then. And like actually meeting someone with it, and I was like, holy shit! I feel so fortunate now, just to, like, that I only had eczema. Like, and the way that people deal with it, like it can be really devastating to see sometimes.
Yeah.
And knowing, I guess, how I felt just from the condition that I had, and then seeing that with someone else and being like, holy shit, I don't know if I could actually go through that as well as you are. Like, that is fucking insane.
Everyone has their hard. Do you know that?
Of
like,
course.
I think people look at, like, they're like, oh, wow, like, you know, going through what you have and everything. And I suppose with the sickness, I don't look at this as being any harder than eczema, you know, because I think that there would have been situations in your life that would have affected you. And I think that we can never compare, really. But I mean, I was told I'd be in a wheelchair by my mid-20s if I didn't change my lifestyle. Like, I was told that. My doctor was like, if this young, you showing these signs of this condition. And I know women who are in a wheelchair with my condition. So I literally went, fuck you, to PSA. I actually love it because it's actually my, like, it's like a part of me.
Kind of rhymes a little bit. It's kind of got a little twang to it.
PSA. No. I like it and I don't like it because it really does put limitations on my diet, but almost for a good reason. Yeah. But I get it, my stomach inflames really badly to the point where I've got photos of it where, like, and you know, girls go, oh, I feel bloated. Nah.
Princess,
you have never seen a flare up where my stomach is, no joke, out to here. Yeah. My partner has seen it as well. And it could be from just literally eating bread 2 or 3 times in a day, or not enough sleep one night, whatever. And it just goes bam. And I will go through a bout of not being able to go to the toilet for like 9 to 14 days. Oh. And like, I can't tell you how excruciating. I've been hospitalized with that as well, with like, God, this is awful, but like fecal, you know, impact. And it's just such an embarrassing, awful experience. So like, again, I suppose coming back around to that, you know, being worried about judgment, I got slammed so much in life where, like, I couldn't be worried about judgment because if I didn't, I couldn't be myself, right? Yeah. If I was like worried about what people thought about me, I had to hide all of these layers of myself all the time behind everything that wasn't me, you know? So managing it is exercise and diet. Resistance training is wonderful for it because it releases the fluid around the joints. And I've managed it ever since. I've never been on chemotherapy since I was 19, not touched it. And they've tried to put me back on it, like, numerous times. My doctors, when I had a spinal injury a year ago where I couldn't deadlift more than 7 kilo dumbbells. Like, I couldn't even walk. My whole right leg wasn't working and I was just dragging that around the room. And that was fucked. I had all of my, you know, physical freedom taken away from me for weeks on end. Because my spine flared up and the arthritis got into the L4, L5 injury and actually seized my spine. So I couldn't even bend forward. Like, my partner had to, bless his soul, had to pick everything up for me. Like, you know, so now I'm doing, you know, 50 kilo dumbbell RDLs. Yeah. Like a year later, you know, so.
And I guess, I don't know, it's one of those things, like, in no way can I relate to what it must be like to go through that kind of thing. But oddly enough, in a sense, that you've had those sorts of issues. Like, my sister, who is the person who is dearest to me, like, the person I care about the most in this fucking world, you know, she got hit with rheumatoid arthritis.
Oh, that's our sister. Yeah.
Out of absolutely nowhere. You know, she'd been, like, complaining, you know, she'd had issues, like, just flare-ups randomly for years, going to doctors, and they'd always said, no, you're too young for it. Like, there's no way. That there's, like, pretty much, like, you're full of shit.
Oh, I love that. You're too young for a disease that can literally, anyone can be diagnosed with rheumatoid or PSA. Like, we're not too young for it.
So she was, too young, and then, you know, finally ended up getting up the courage to start her own business, you know, like a coffee van, because she's a fantastic barista, loves it, and loves just interacting with the community and stuff. And then it was like it was like a couple weeks after she got it and was like just getting into it. Things were starting to go good. Full-blown rheumatoid arthritis, and she couldn't hold because it was through her hands.
Oh, my
God. Could not hold anything for weeks on end.
That breaks me. That's awful.
You know, and again, like similar with my sister, who is someone who I care about so much. You know, I can't imagine what it would be like to lose a child. However, you know, my sister and her, you know, husband at the time, they'd been together for 12 years or so. She ended up getting pregnant. You know, so they're expecting for their first child. I'm expecting, you know, my first niece or nephew.
Oh.
I'm super excited.
Oh my
on the
God.
top.
A little squish.
Exactly. You know, and then we end up finding out midway through the pregnancy that he had actually knocked up someone else with twins, while already already knew that that other person was pregnant a week before they went away to get pregnant.
Holy shit.
And so this is someone that I had known for the, you know, the majority of my life, like since I was like 6.
Wow.
You know, who had lived at my house, who had been everything, who
Yeah.
was pretty much a
Became
brother.
family.
Exactly. And this was also like I think it was like 6 weeks or so before I moved to the UK as well.
Mm.
So it was like real just shit timing of everything. And this just like the stresses of like finding that out, dealing with that, having to go through a divorce, you know, losing the, like, you know,
Jesus
the house,
Christ.
all this kind of stuff. She ended up losing the kid as well.
Oh.
You know, and although I can't imagine I could never put myself in that position as to what she went through or how that felt or what that was like, but I know damn well how I felt as seeing that happen. And seeing that happen to someone that I cared about so much, and not ever seeing that niece or that nephew. You know, I want to be I want to be the cool uncle, man.
It really is, honestly. Like, I'm so sorry for you, because you know what? Like, everyone loses. Do you know what I mean? In that situation, nobody wins, and nobody loses more than anyone else. It's not how it works. It's like missing someone you've never met. That's the way I would describe it. Was like months after I could hear kids laughing.
Yeah,
and
so it
things.
physically feels like
Yes.
there is something missing.
Yeah, I would have dreams about him, you know? Like, and I knew he was a boy. I would literally visualize him in my mind. And I still do. I still celebrate his birthday. You know, I don't think that you should ever quash those feelings, that you should ever tell yourself that, you know, just because you didn't feel what she felt doesn't mean you didn't feel it. Of course you felt it. You grieved for a loved one that you didn't get to meet and that you were prepared for, you know, that you were ready to love that person. You had your heart open for them, you know, that little human. And just like I was, you know, I was, yeah, I honestly think it goes far above and beyond you know, I do think that when a mother loses a child, I think it's the worst loss in the world. I honestly do. I don't think that there's any loss deeper than that. But it has such an effect, right? Like on everybody outside of that, and not just that, the way that the person becomes afterwards.
Oh yeah, I mean, having to see how that affected her, and again,
Yeah.
you know, like say in my sister's situation, where she'd been with someone for the past 12 years, like, you know, they got together in year 7, so she had absolutely no outward social skills because everything that she'd ever done growing up was with him. Their friends, like her friends were his friends were her friends. Everything they went to was always together. And after that happened, yeah, it was like she just didn't know how to interact with society at the same time, while also trying to deal with that. She'd lost a lot of her friends because they were in this massive, like, just, you know, friendship rivalry war in a sense.
Vortex,
it's like, yeah, exactly. No one knew what to do. You know, and it was at a point where it was like I had to do I ended up like taking her away on a holiday for her birthday for like a month or so. And luckily, like it was like pretty much it like happened. A few weeks notice, I was like, fuck this, like we're going overseas. Like she hadn't been overseas in, you know, very, very long, since her honeymoon pretty much. Like, you know, we surprised her with that for her birthday, go over there for like a month or so. I get back for 6 days and then I move to the UK.
Wow. Do you feel like you spent a large chunk of your life running? Because I feel like that's what it was. Like, you know, sometimes I hate calling you out on that, but like,
No, 100%.
I did that. I
100%.
moved house a lot and I think I just kept going, you know, from job to job and the type, because if I had to stop, I had to think, you know.
I've ran from things multiple times,
Yeah.
at least 5 or 6 at
Yeah.
this point. You know, and even like say end of last year when I went home for Christmas, I think I went back for 2 weeks to see family, and but it's like I had to get out of there.
You left early.
Like, I had to get out of there.
Yeah.
Like I came back and I was suicidal depressed again for the next month and a half, 2 months.
Yeah.
After 2 weeks.
Yeah. I know. I hadn't gone back to my hometown for 6 years. Like
it was just like slipping into all of my old ways, all of my old thought patterns, all of my old everything so quickly that I just could not get myself like back out of that feeling.
I remember I actually went back for New Year's after the first time. Like this New Year's just gone after 6 years. And I said to my mother, it was really difficult for me to be in the house that we lived in. And it's not because anything terrible happened. You know what I mean? Like it's not like my mum, I love my mum to pieces. And she's just been a core pillar in my life and a big inspiration to me for a long time. If you wonder where I get my work ethic from, it's my fucking mum. And my dad, mind you, my dad is very much like that. They're not together, but it's going back there was because that was where one of my suicide attempts was. And it was also where a lot of the binge eating happened. And it's where the previous version of myself existed, right? So you get it. Like, so I did go back there and I had dinner there, but I realized I probably can't do that again. And I know that it's probably awful for my mother because that's our house and that's, you know, home to her. But for me, it's a painful place because I guess I did what you did and I kind of put myself into these new locations hoping that the new location wouldn't remind me of the old memories. But I actually read a quote today and I sent this to my best friend. She needed it. And it was, go back to the places that you cried and laugh, right? So go back and laugh in the places that you cried. Like, rewrite memories. Make it different for yourself. You don't have to go back to your hometown for God's sake. But like, if it's, you know, for me, it was old houses that I was in where a lot of the really awful stuff happened to me. And I had to, you know, almost cleanse it without being too deep like that. I had to cleanse it. I had to open up the windows and get the whole house clean and put on my favorite music and change the environment for myself for that to become a new place for me instead of running. Because the thing is, people, there's a lot of research into this, but people who take lots and lots of holidays and go, I can't wait to get away from my reality, to get away. You are escaping something that you need to work on where you are, whether it's that you're unhappy in your career or whether it's that you're letting people walk all over you or whatever it might be. But holidays are great. Don't get me wrong. I go on holidays. But I also want to make sure that I'm not escaping from where I am and that where I am, I'm actually pretty happy with too.
Yeah, well, it's like at the end of the day, if you're taking a holiday, you're taking a break. You're taking a break from what you're currently doing. If what you're currently doing is what you're doing every single day, then you're always wanting to take a break from the thing you're always doing.
Yes. So you need to have, exactly, there's such a thing as, there is such a thing as downtime.
Realistically, your reality or your general life, the goal is to make it feel like every day is a holiday.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, what do you have when you're on holiday? You have complete control and freedom over what you do.
Yes. And you know, it's interesting. I still pinch myself every morning when I wake up and I'm like, this is what I do for work. I'm like, what? I help people for work. I get up and I'm in my PJs and I message people. Like, how mind-blowing is it that I get up in the morning and I don't even have to leave my damn house and I can just sit there and do what I love. And you know, it's interesting. It's not just me. Like, literally anyone who's listening to this podcast and is at a point in their life where they're like, I need to make a change. I want to start a cake making business. I don't give a shit what you want to do. Just whatever you want to do, stop hesitating. Please stop doing that to yourself. Holy crap. Like, if I could take any singular piece of advice when it comes to business or give it to anybody, is you can. Like, you can. I don't give a shit what you say. You can. You can do it. I can do it. I fucking did it. I'm technologically retarded. Like, I have no idea. And I'm online, guys.
The simple fact that I get to talk to some of the coolest athletes in the sport that I love, and that the goal, the dream of being able to travel on an international circuit through that sport because of a camera.
Yeah. Yes. How exciting is that?
Is mind-blowing.
It's so exciting. And you know what? Set yourself up for it. Chase it. you know, go after it. Like, there's nothing stopping you from doing whatever you want to do and you think is possible with your business. It is. It is possible. There's no limitations, and you don't have to worry about your fucking social media following. Holy crap. You know, people look at my socials sometimes and they're like, oh, like, do I need to have a big following to be successful? I'm like, dude, I had a big following before I got a business, right? So, like, before I launched my business, people just like seeing what I did, and that's fine. They decide to follow it. Even that in itself, I could lose that tomorrow. I don't care for it. All I care about is making a difference. Do you know what I mean? All I want to do is make a difference in people's lives because of the things that I went through. All of this stuff has paved the way for the changes that I want to make.
Exactly. It's like at the end of the day, if you were stripped of everything but your experiences, then
you'd still be the exact same. I'd be rich as shit.
You'd still be the exact same person.
I would be so rich. Oh my God. You could throw me in the gutter and I will literally come out with gold. I swear to God. But that's from a point of resilience, right?
Yeah. Because and that was the point of trying to push things as deep and dark as possible, just to be able to be like, hey, if I can lose everything and I can get to this point where this is like literally the route, like this is the option that I'm left with, and I can get back out of that.
Mushrooms grow in darkness. You know that? Like, this is an interesting thing. Lots of things happen in the shittest times of your life. And also, lots of wonderful things happen in the best times of your life as well. But you can't wait for the right time to make those things happen either. You just have to go and do it. You just have to go and, you know, like nosedive into those situations when you're, presented with that opportunity. That's the way I look at it. Opportunity is exciting. It's not scary. It's super exciting. Flip the card, right? Let yourself see what's on the other side.
Well, I mean, I think something that literally just popped into my mind just then about, like, say, perspective when it comes to, like, happiness and when it comes to success and all that sort of stuff. If you're in broad daylight, or if you're in a bright room and you put on a light, it really doesn't make much difference. If you are in a dark room and you put on any form of light, it makes a fucking huge difference.
Yeah. If you're
it's all about the perspective of how you, like, where you're sort of at the moment.
Yeah.
And like that, like it's the it's the difference between those 2 points. You know, it's like
contrast.
Exactly, the contrast. Like the darker you're at, then the less light you actually need for it to make a fucking difference and to start feeling it and just for it to grow into something bigger and better.
Yeah. My dad always
good in my head.
Honestly, my dad always used to say to me, it's okay to sit in darkness. Just remember to head towards a light when you see one. And for me, that was really like profound, because I have depressive episodes still. I just went through one for 2 weeks. No one even knew about it. I just went through a depressive episode. I have silent borderline personality disorder, which means no one understands or sees me when I go through episodes where I think, I don't think very nicely of myself, but I know how to deal with those now. Like, I have the tools to do that. And the interesting thing about silent BPD, people think that with people with borderline personality disorder are fucking batshit crazy. We are, all right? And it's great because it makes us who we are. I may also have an undiagnosed ADHD diagnosis. I don't know. Whatever. Who isn't ADHD these days? It seems like a popular, well, especially our generation.
Very trendy one to be on.
But it's also our generation. What we were exposed to is the technological changes that we were, right? So we went through a revolution where, when we were younger, technology wasn't as big, and now it's fucking massive. So we went through a stage where we were constantly being distracted and in distress. And a lot of ADHD comes from that. A lot of ADHD comes from being constantly distracted away from what you were doing based on the different stimulus that were being applied. And we literally went through the shift. We went through the shift from not as much technology to literally shoved in our face every single day. So I'm not surprised that your 90s babies are being diagnosed with ADHD, because where the fuck do you think that came from? Right? Where do you think that came from? Because we used to be able to focus back with what we used to do, and now we're not like the new generation coming through, which have been born into technology being this rife, and literally born into using Instagram at the age of 8 or 9 or whatever. Oh my God!
They're looking and bringing out in like Instagram Kids and stuff like that.
Stop it!
Like,
don't do it! Ban it! I don't like it.
Why are you doing this?
Don't do it to kids.
Okay, something I'm curious about them when it comes to like how you are yourself, how you say like you are tech illiterate and all this sort of jazz. When it comes to your coaching business, was the majority of that through Instagram? Was that through like a website? Was that through Facebook? Like, was that through like
people get really focused on the platform? Hey,
I'm just curious how you actually went about doing, doing lead gen while also being tech illiterate. In your own terms, I didn't say it. That was my Mariah voice, if you couldn't tell.
Tech illiterate, yes. So, Look, Instagram was an account that I had, God, when I was younger, which was just pictures of my food and selfies, really. Like, it was, I was the typical 19-year-old that just got Insta just to post my coffee.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, like, that Valencia filter was on everything.
100%, man.
Smash the shit out of that Valencia filter. I can't remember where it changed. I'm going to be honest with you. The only thing I did differently to get leads and to get clients, I'm so sorry to tell you this, was to be good at my job. And people talked. But they used social media platforms, messaging platforms, Facebook, Instagram. They used anything that I had. I didn't even get a website until about maybe like a year and a half ago, maybe.
Yep.
Just for people to sign up and do pre-screening and stuff.
So with that all starting then, was that like you just getting a couple clients on, like, say, like,
started with one client.
Yeah, you met them face to face, and then it was literally just like a word of mouth referral that kind of like spread through.
No, I started online. I actually did things backwards.
Right, yeah, but I guess what I mean by that one, where you said it was just like, like just the being good at your job part, but and you said it was like, word of mouth in a sense. Like,
oh, yes. You want to know like the actual, like, the very first client.
How like that first ball.
How did it morph?
Exactly. Because
how did it go from a droplet to a tidal wave?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So when I was going through recovery for anorexia, I was very passionate about food creations because a lot of my therapy actually involved, because I was afraid of baking. Because I thought I would eat the whole bowl of baking. Who isn't scared of eating the whole bowl of baking, right? There was a legitimate fear, right?
That's why, like, you said like pasta bake, and I'm like, damn, that sounds good, but I don't know.
I'm gonna eat all that.
I'm gonna eat all that.
Freeze all the other portions is my advice. But I was so afraid of.
Do you think that'll stop me?
Eats frozen pasta bake. I need a selfie, or it didn't happen. Just imagine this frozen biscuit pasta bake.
Challenge accepted.
Look, you know what? I've done worse. So I started with these. I was baking. I shit you not, my first recipe, I screwed up something bad, right? Like back on when Pinterest was like a massive recipe way of, like doing things like, recipes. But it was like coconut cherry muffins, and I baked the cherry pits into the muffins. This is my first attempt at baking while I was anorexic. Mind you, my mind was scattered, so lol. Anyway, I forced my family to eat them, much to their demise. There was no cracked teeth, but my dad was just like, yummy, So I started, I was a shit baker. I was crap. I was really bad at it. And obviously, like anything, I'm determined and stubborn because, I came from what I came from. Look at me. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to get better at this. I stuffed the first one. It's not going to stop me. And I started just making things and creating things and playing with flavors and foods and recipes. My stepfather is a food technologist. So we grew up with cooking lots of, I'm talking the most extravagant, weirdest meals in the world. And he taught me how to work with different textures and what to add to change things. So I guess cooking came very naturally to me. That was cool. Yeah. So I just made shit up. The cherry pits was the last worst incident, right? So it's, it's okay. You guys are safe. There's no cherry pits in my recipes now. But it started with recipes. It started with food creations. It started with food art because I started playing with making my food pretty. And so then for me, the focus was on making my food beautiful and not necessarily on the calories. And so I started to let go of the calories and started to detach myself more to enjoying the food.
Art side of it.
The art. And because I was a VHA English student and art student in high school. So that's A+.
Yeah.
Top of the line English and art student. I was the annoyingly good art and English student to the point where my English teacher was like, why am I even teaching you? Piss off.
Solid.
Mine
was pretty much, why are you even...
Why are you here?
Yeah, actually, mine said the same thing, actually. Why am I even...
You find it's pretty typical, though, for, women are very good with communication and English, it's very, very standard. But I had, art pieces put in exhibitions and things, and it was just, for me, very enjoyable. I really loved art. It was an escape for me. Every type of medium you could think of, and writing as well, creative writing and art was just my shit. So a lot of my background in being able to...
I always loved creative writing, but it was always taught I was so damn shit at it.
Yeah,
I know my spelling and grammar atrocious, but I actually, even when I was, traveling a little bit, I was, writing, little novels and stuff.
Poetry is good too, yeah.
I don't know, something about writing absolutely.
I highly encourage it. And the thing is too, it's a lost art, but it's not, because they actually say that people, if you write things down, you actually get a much better experience of it than you do typing.
Oh yeah, shit.
Yeah.
That one only wiped out this side today. The other side is still full.
Yeah.
There's another one there. There's another one under there.
You're a whiteboard guy.
I love whiteboards. Being able to like color coordinate with that as I'm like going through and thinking about this.
That's your thing. Like, I don't take that away from people. If they like, I use my phone, but I use notes in my phone, and that's
the exact same.
I'm a notes person on my phone. That's how I organize my entire life. I only recently just changed my whole business over from notes to Google spreadsheets. Again, technologically special. So I'm very proud of myself for now using Google spreadsheets.
What sort of thing for?
Anything from leads to social media planning to you name it.
I switched over to a full CRM. Best choice.
Yes,
man.
that's the next step.
No,
I'm still not there. I'm so sorry. I'm literally, I shit you not, I get up to like 15 leads a week, and it's all manual at the moment. It's driving me insane.
No, man.
Send me a CRM.
Yeah, I mean, like, the one I use is predominantly actually focused around around photography. Actually,
Yeah.
which is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
That even exists. If there is anyone who does do photography, Studio Ninja, great. But I do actually know of one that is for like
fitness
gyms
and
PTs
nutrition.
And that sort of stuff.
Nutrition specifically, I think, as well. But it's interesting you say that. My partner is in tech solutions. Like
Yeah, honestly,
he literally sells these things. I know. I'm just a shithead. Like, I'm a person who I'm very much, if a system is working for me, I don't want to change it. But also I know that I need to. So
because I was doing the Google Sheets route as well.
I've only just changed from notes to Google spreadsheets. All right, give me some time, mate.
Yeah, but why go through the process of learning something new that is still so inefficient when you could just put the time into the one that would...
You're right.
Automates everything.
Technology is my crutch. I actually just got Reckon 1. I just got the accounting side to Reckon 1. Mind you, I have no idea why I use Reckon 1 currently, because it's still very manual.
So we're using QuickBooks.
Yeah, they're the same company, but they split. So they're the same thing, but they're just two different names. Yeah.
Because more profitability.
Arguments, actually. They had arguments. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Or politics.
That'll also do it.
So back around to the topic of the recipes. I started making my own. I know, right? We did a full circle there. Welcome to ADHD with...
Holy shit, baby, I've got it too.
Are you still following?
100%.
The recipes, I was smashing them out, and I was making all this food on Instagram. And obviously my small country town of Bundaberg was like, who's this crazy bitch making random foods and items? She looks good. And no joke, people just got interested in the way that I looked and what I ate. And then they were like, what are you eating? Can I have the recipe? And then it just kind of, I actually selfishly, because I was going through recovery. This was my anorexia recovery, right? So this is me like, I'm recovering from an eating disorder and these motherfuckers want to know what I'm eating. All right. But I went through the stage where I was like, it's mine. I don't want to share it. It's mine. It's my thing. I don't want to share my training. I don't want to share my recipes. I don't want to share anything. And I was really freaking selfish. I guess I kind of probably could have afforded to be selfish going through that process. But one girl, I was, 24, 25, 24? No, 24. Yeah. And she was like, I actually went to school with her. This is a crazy story, but she got bullied really badly in high school because she was a new girl. And I was sitting in a circle of friends and this girl, they were talking about her. And I was in the circle and I went, shut the fuck up. I can't deal with this. And I stood up and I left. I left the circle and I went and hung out with a girl who was being bullied. Like, I was just that person who had to do that. Anyway, this same girl, I won't say her name. She's so wonderful. She's actually gotten like 6 meal plans from me when I used to do them.
Oh, nice.
But she started out and she's like, can you do me a meal plan? I'm like, dude, I'm not qualified. I can't do that. She's like, I don't care. I'll pay for recipes. I don't even care. And I was like, but it's not like, it's not tailored to you. Like, it's just recipes. And she's like, Mariah, I don't care. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to charge you because I'm not qualified. So I'll just give you my recipes for free and here you go. She went away and she used them and she lost like 20 kilos in the space of like, she'd had a bit of weight to lose. She lost 20 kilos in the space of 6 months. Didn't feel like she was dieting. Felt amazing. Was like, holy shit, what is this magic? And I was like, food. And like, it's like, because I knew so much about macros and calories back then already before it was even a thing. Yeah. So I was like, you know, because all of these were based on macros and calories. Like I had done all the calculations and everything for them. Like this was all based on even before macros and calories were even put into, you know, programs and things. So I did all that, and she like loved it
before there's a way to track.
She loved it, and then she was like, I want another one, and I was like, no, I'm not doing another one. Like that's it. And she's like, no, I'm going to pay you. And I was like, no, I don't want the money. Stop it. She's like, all right, well then, can you just give me another one? I was like, okay, fine. So I did another one, and then she started like talking about it and was like, you know, oh my God, I'm amazed. Like, this is amazing. And she started telling her friends, and it was like, and I'm like, shut up, I'm not qualified, stop. And like, I was at that stage where like my moral value is very high. So I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not going to be that guy. No, like I'm
not just your gym bro.
I might be doing a better meal plan than chicken and broccoli, but I'm going to wait until I'm qualified to actually have this as a business. And so in the first stages of it all, it was just my friends. It was literally just people I knew. I was like, yeah, cool. All right. Like whatever. Yeah, it's okay. Shh. And I helped that many people, and in the space of, and it was just everyday mums actually needing to lose a considerable amount of body fat just to be healthy, right? So I'm talking like women who are like above 100 kg, just needing to be able to lose enough body fat to walk up the stairs. Like those types of people that I actually really wanted to help. And then it just spread like wildfire, and it wasn't too much. Like I'm talking wildfire, like it was like maybe like one a month for ages. And I was just like, meh, side hustle, whatever. It was like, you know, like knitting, something I do on the side. I don't care. And then I went and competed. And while I was competing, because I still wasn't really giving it very much effort, you know, like this was back in 2018, 19. So 2019 I competed. Around 2018 it was still in its infancy. It was still just friends and family, whatever. And 2019 I competed, and I went, ding, why don't I just go and study? Because I was like, I actually want to do this. I want to do this properly. And I was like, why don't I just go and study something that I know that I can study to get this qualification, because I want to help people. I want to do this legally and properly and like be official. And I didn't want to be an asshole just, you know, like the rest of the PTs out there giving unwarranted nutrition advice. So I went and studied my Cert 3 and 4 in fitness and my certification in nutrition, Sports Nutrition Australia certification, all at the same time. Like I'm talking simultaneously. I ran a gym, and then I was trying to do a couple of little online things as well. So, and I was prepping. Like I'm telling you, I'm fucking crazy. So I did all of that at the same time. Mind you, I had no sex life. Like there was just nothing going on. I was studying really, really full on.
Bro, you don't have time to eat or do it. You don't.
No. I do.
There is nothing.
I make time. But
that
was how it was. That was how it was. I was shoveling food in at my desk, and like,
you just like modified a pen so it's like a spoon on one end. So you just do like, every line I get a bite.
I was sleep deprived through that first prep, and I really regret it, honestly. But I then decided, you know, from there, because
wait, is this the one that you was, so the sleep deprived one, is that the one you came in and just cleaned out and won everything?
Yes. So this is sorry guys. Who are you? You're an alien. And so I went through that process, and then I got fully qualified, and it was all legit and everything. And the second I was fully qualified, I went full time. That was when I like launched the business. I started doing PT. So I did things backwards. I was already online because it was all online.
Yeah. That is a really interesting story of it.
No, I was pushed into my role. I was not.
That's cool.
This wasn't a situation where I was like, I want to be a sports nutritionist and I'm going to go and find clients. Clients found me first.
That's cool.
And I followed, you know. And so people go, oh, you should always do your time in the gym as a PT before you go online. And I think that's false, because what happens if you've spent? I managed a gym for a year and a half, and not just that, I had been training since I was 20. I'd been surrounded by training. I had dated a PT for 7 years. You know, I had gone through this situation where I was completely submerged. I did my Cert 3 and 4 in the blink of an eye because I already had the background info. Yeah, I knew all of this stuff.
It was literally just putting it down on
it was just paper. Honestly, my instructor was like, I don't even know why you're doing this cert, but whatever. Like, you know, it's fine.
Because I have to.
I have to do legal things, you know.
So if you want to sign me off right now, you go for it.
Yeah. He was like, you're so competent, it's not funny. Stop it. Like, so, you know, I went through this, and mind you, like the PT I dated, as much of an arsehole as he was a rehab specialist. So like he also worked with lots of injury prevention. And so,
which is probably like the hardest part of doing,
right? So it's the
doing that
essential
course.
part you need from PT. Like it's a shit that you should know. So, mind you, I've still got a lot to learn in that field as well. But, and I mean about complex anatomy and even, you know, human biomechanics as well. Like that type of stuff is limitless. Like, you know, that's why I have a lot of respect for physios who actually are really good physios, because they are able to spot things that most people can't. You know, you have to be able to see past, like, you know, beneath the surface of the skin, basically. You know, you've got to be able to understand how people move. So I went through that whole process, ended up launching full time. No joke, I shit you not, I had a 3-week wait on meal plans. I'm not kidding. It was a 3-week wait on meal plans whilst I was working at the gym. And I was about to do my second prepping internationals, where I won Australian Classic Novice division for Australian Classic Figure. So first year competing, Australian Novice Champion, whatever you want to call it, which is pretty cool. And so I rocked up for that. And I remember the peak week before that, I was managing Snap Fitness at the Gap and also Kiwana. So I was actually driving between the two. What is wrong with me? I said yes to this. I was driving between the two, managing these two gyms. And I'm a couple of weeks after, and I kept taking all this leave. I said to my boss, he was actually lovely. I really like him. He's amazing. He's part of the reason I went full time.
He's like, I think I'm actually about to die.
He's a part of the reason why I went full time, because I kept taking leave, all these leave days. And he's like, he walked into work one day. He was such a cool dude. And he walked into work, like he paid me $50,000 a year. Like, honestly, you know, he walked into work and he goes, Mariah, when are you going to leave? And I was like, you knew I was going to leave eventually, didn't you? And he's like, Mariah, I feel like you're not going to leave unless I tell you to leave. And he's like, I love you and you're the best gym manager I've ever had. You only work here 2 days a week now and you still run the gym better than anyone else has, and you cleaned up my systems better than anyone else has. He's like, but you're better than this. And it would be selfish of me to keep you. I know you're better than this. I know you're going to do better and bigger things. And I swear to God, his name's Ryan. He's lovely. I thank him for being someone who wasn't selfish and who wasn't like, I'm just going to keep this person, because I had companies do that to me. I had a very big name clothing brand, gym clothing brand, who I used to work for as a state business development specialist. I'm talking a state business role that I worked for them for 3 years. What's the biggest gym brand you can think of, right? Don't say it, but right?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, a female gym brand. I worked for them for 3 years.
All right, yep.
Just have to keep things on the
DL.
DL.
Yep. You don't want to get sued. No.
No. And honestly, like my time with them, actually, I went through my recovery with anorexia, and a lot of that was really rewarding. Like working for them was part of my recovery, because they did give me a very much a business-driven mindset. I was grossly underpaid and overworked there. Honestly, I really was. And I know that. But I was kept in my position because I thought that it was a privilege to work for them. You know, what a privilege to work for this company. And I was wrong. It wasn't a privilege to work for them. It was a privilege for them to have me, because I was doing so well. I was the top performing business development specialist that they had. No one hit targets like I did and for as long as I did. And I invented that role. I actually wrote the role up, and then they rolled out 6 to 7 of them in the country. I also worked at First Choice Liquor for a while, and I designed their current party and events planning spreadsheets.
Jesus.
So that's also a countrywide rollout. That there were so many things that I managed a nightclub at.
So there were some licensing fees that did not get paid there.
Right, guys.
Jesus.
Give me that marketing credit.
You gotta have that in writing when you put forward the ideas.
You know, I managed a nightclub at 15 years old with 16 staff, and no one would believe me that I was 15 at the bar. Like, that's how I'm known in Bundaberg. And that's actually where part of my business started getting so big. Crazy, right? It's where part of my business started getting so big, because people knew me from the local nightclub, and then they saw me go and get my life together, and they were like, damn. And so that actually started my exposure. I actually knew thousands of drunken people who then, you know, knew me from that aspect.
Jesus Christ.
I know. So then a lot of my online stuff came from Bundaberg. And honestly, still to this day, like, I still get a lot of my online queries from Bundaberg, because it's such a small town. Everyone's so close knit.
Everyone knows everyone.
It is, and there's no one there. There's no sports nutritionist there. Like, I'm the only sports nutritionist that I know of that exists that came from Bundaberg and has a connection to it.
See, oddly enough, Hayden is also from Bundaberg.
Oh, what? That's crazy. Well, there you go. 2. Is he a sports nutritionist?
No.
Oh.
He's finishing his cert 4.
Oh, good on him.
He's
becoming
a PT.
It's really hard. Sports nutrition is you've got to pass like 80% of the, like, and honestly, the fail rate is really high. Like when people go, I want to be a sports nutritionist, I'm like, please just think about it. But like, honestly, I welcome you into the industry, but unless you understand biochemistry and unless you're like, you know how to deep dive into that stuff, or you're ready to, it's just it's a whole nother kettle of fish. It really is a whole nother kettle of fish. So that's how the business kind of started. I kind of got pushed into it by not just my clients, but also by my boss at the time. And I just went, okay. And I went full time, and I haven't stopped since. Like I haven't stopped since. Like, and that was back in 2019. And so all through COVID, when things went south with PT, I was working at World Gym Urungpilly for a while. And I didn't pay rent there. They had a social media agreement there because I'd gotten big on social media from my classic figure wins. That's actually where it boomed. Yep. They were like, no, you don't have to pay rent. So I was just giving them, social media exposure, and it was like a good relationship we had going. And and then I went through COVID, and I did $1 a minute PT sessions through COVID in the park. Like I refused to be shut down. I was like, I'm not taking this. I did online programming for people for home programs. I did online meal plans for limited groceries because at the time, obviously, there was only certain groceries that were available. So I would meal plan to those groceries. I was like, I'm not dying in this. I'm gonna get through it, and I did. And my business boomed. My business actually got busier and was more profitable. It actually kept growing through COVID, and then coming out of COVID, even so, again, here I am now, completely capped out. I no longer do meal plans. I only do macro coaching and teaching people how to create their own and how to do it themselves. Because if I was to do that, I would be working 60 or 70-hour work weeks like I was, because the wait list for meal plans was massive. So now I only do one-on-one coaching. It's a premium service only, and I'm happy doing that. I'm actually booked at one-on-one coaching pretty much at the moment. So my next step is I've actually created a course.
I was going to say, is there plans to start expanding the team in that aspect? Or
go
into more of that sort of, like that?
I've got a coach,
Again, this is one of those things where I've had a few people say to me, like damn, you have a really, like, when I talk to them, like, you have a really, like, good brain. And I'm like,
yeah,
I think I love your brain. Like, it just ticks.
Yeah.
So well.
Yeah.
I love it.
The interesting thing is that when you first meet somebody, you've got no idea what's beneath the surface. You really don't. Like, it's so intricate and so interesting, and it can be in lots of different ways. But yes.
Well, I mean, shit, the first time I met you was randomly out at Mac Ravat after a closing session one day.
Yeah.
And then,
people
people
think I'm this loud and obnoxious and opinionated human being. And you know what? I'm okay with that, because there will be a fraction of those people who are willing to understand everything that lies beneath and the depths, the different layers, which I find is just, it's not my purpose in life to prove my point to people, right? And to everybody. It's just not. But if people are willing to listen and willing to show up for it, 100% I'll give it to them. Like, I will give everything I can for the time they'll have me. So, yes, that's pretty much it. The plan is to expand. I already have. I've hired a coach. She's based in Adelaide. I love her. I love her physique. She's another figure competitor. She's staunch and jacked and amazing, and she's a sports nutritionist. She's equally as qualified. I've actually taken her through all the rigorous training to get her up to scratch with me. I'm talking hours of instructional videos to coach the way I coach. Like my values, my morals, my beliefs, my background,
Nice.
The whole thing. She's MJ Fit. She's me, but just another me. So I wanted to create that so that I've got longevity of the business. The other step that I've made is I've got the virtual assistant to remove myself from social media and obviously all my finances, because nobody likes that in business. And I'm looking at eventually obviously hiring more coaches and branching out and actually becoming like a school of coaches, because I feel like
again, that was actually kind of like the thought that I had earlier, which was kind of the direction I was like, fuck,
coaching coaches
should really take it that way, because especially talking on like the way that you handle other, like, like the business side of coaching already, but even just from talking to you, I'm like, damn, you'd be really good at coaching coaches. Same as like if you had that sort of response from the cookbook without doing anything behind it, like, damn, you should be really hitting up those people for some like just hella good testimonials and ramping the absolute fuckery out of that thing.
Yeah, it's interesting, I think, because it's probably not marketed very well, but I got to a stage with it where I was sick of doing meal plans, and And I was at a point where I wanted to share my recipes with the world, but I guess I didn't want to keep taking my time away from things that I wanted to do more, which was my podcast and creating content. And I'm so happy I've been able to launch a podcast. I've been able to, literally every one of my dreams possible that I had before has been fulfilled. There's a couple more to go. I'd love to have more public speaking opportunities. I think that is really important, especially for my space in the field, especially as a female coach and as a female influencer. And I hate using that word, but as a mentor in people's lives. I'd love to do that. I'd love to start my own brand of food, you know, of meals as well. Like this, there's always expansion, but I want to get this right first. But I have recently designed a macro coaching course, which is a self-accessible course whereby they don't need one-on-one check-ins with me, where they can go do their own thing for 8 weeks. It's not an 8-week challenge. It's 8 weeks of teaching them how to track properly. And it's 8 weeks of removing myself from it and letting themselves have a self-check-in. They get Q&As every fortnight with me, which is a group scenario and setting. And they check in themselves through the Trainerize app. Yep. Like there's no access to messaging me. That's a big part of it. Like I can't have them messaging me if I have.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, that's just another way to actually be able to command having a premium service for yourself, because like the segregation of certain groups between, you know, like certain, I guess, like elements that you like, services that you provide is really where you can cross that threshold really well. Because like, well, hey, this is what this is for this.
Yes.
If you can't afford this, that's cool, but we've got this for you.
Yes.
And then it's like, well, the reason that this is this price is because we already have this. And if this was too close to this, then we would have too many that could do this, and we want to deliver the best service that we can to these people.
Yeah.
So that's why it's where it is.
And you've got to provide something for people once you're booked out, and you know that, you know what, I can't keep overworking myself.
So at the end of the day, you're just gonna burn your there's nothing wrong with wanting to, you know, like grow and develop and be the best that you can be, and you know, do the most, you know, become the most financially free that you can possibly be. But you get to a certain point where it's like, it's not realistic to expect that you can do that if things don't change.
No.
You can only work to a certain capacity.
Scaling. Yeah, scaling and growth. When you grow, you must scale. When you scale, you got to look at then growing it. It's kind of like, you can imagine kind of chipping away at like a clay pot. Like you've got a shape, and then you've got to, I suppose, like move it in the direction you want to go in. Like there are so many aspects of growing a business. You can't just grow. You have to grow and scale and grow and scale. You have to switch between the two and kind of do them simultaneously. But yeah, I've got that course. It's an 8 week. It's actually launching in a couple of weeks. And like, it's been such a massive project. Holy shit balls. I have been slogging myself at this project since November last year, behind the scenes. I was a bit quieter on socials for a while because I just had to keep putting time into this project. And since I hired the VA, it's gone a lot quicker because someone's editing my shit for me now, which is fantastic. But all the content's been created, like all the course material has been created for it. And obviously with that aspect, it's actually more directed at people who don't need accountability. Like as in they don't want me to check in with them. And that they're autonomous. They can do this by themselves. You know, they can work by themselves. So, and then
so if you don't actually need that one-on-one service, you just need a little bit of guidance and information, and you've got the motivation and the will to go for it.
Yeah.
Nice.
And the other thing I'm launching, I know it's crazy. How the fuck do I find time for this? So the macro course, the 8 week course is called Fierce. Fierce. Stay fierce. Yeah, I love it. The other course I'm launching is super exciting. It's another self-paced course. It's an 8 week course, and it's a business coaching course. And it is designed and targeted towards fitness coaches. And I literally show you the entire back end of the way I operate my business.
Solid.
Boom, right? And like, I'm telling you, there are so many coaches in the industry right now who want to know.
Wait, so does that mean I get access to the Google Sheets? Sorry, I had to throw it in.
Mate, that's not even the start of it, all right? No, to be honest, it's actually a lot of my website stuff. It's things like your website, you know, how we do like our plugins and everything. It's not even all of the technical side of things. It's just the semantics and also a lot of lead generation stuff too. So talking about how to talk to leads, how to keep clients, client attrition, you know, client satisfaction.
How to actually deliver a high quality service that makes people want to stick around and stay with you, and not only do that, but refer you to other people around them. Because it's like, you know, no matter how much your marketing budget is, it's always going to be better if you don't actually have to spend anything, because they're being referred from someone who already trusts and who they also trust.
I don't pay for marketing. My clients are my marketing.
Yeah.
And I'm so loyal
And
to
then
them.
again, that comes to, like not only delivering a great job when it comes to the actual results, but as you just said there, a great service when it comes to the way that they feel.
Yes, yes. And it's all genuine. It has to come from a genuine place. Otherwise, they won't feel that way at all. You know,
You
so
have to, again,
you have to genuinely give a shit.
You actually have to give a shit.
Yeah, you have to give a shit. Yeah, that's pretty much the direction of the business. It's like it's very exciting stuff. But you know, aside from that too, I get asked, when am I competing again? I think that's like one of the major
I was going to ask that towards the end, yeah.
Yeah, because I think that's probably the way to finish it up.
It's like when you,
how long's a piece of string?
Exactly. It's
Yeah,
like,
I don't think there should be any pressure on me to compete again because I did.
You don't need to.
I did go pro with NBA twice in one show. So they gave me the Figure International and Figure Pro card.
Yeah.
Now, you know, look, I could compete again and have another stab at ICN if I really want to. It's not on my priority list. You know, to me,
working the business thing, just, you know, if you want to maybe even like say years time, do like an international tour or something.
Yeah, I'd love to compete internationally with NBA for sure. I think when I do that and when I go back into the pro show, like if I do that, exactly agreed. Like I'd love to compete internationally. I would have another go at ICN. I think, you know, I've twice missed out on my pro card by one place. Like as in twice I've missed out by a pro card by one place. I got second to a pro card twice. So it is like dangling a carrot in front of me. I love them to pieces, but Jesus Christ, guys. But I think it builds resilience. Honestly, I was gutted when I didn't go pro with ICN, and a lot of people talked about it a lot. And I think that it honestly just comes down to the fact that they award a much leaner physique, you know, and I wasn't as conditioned as the girl who went pro. And I know that. Like, people told me after, like, oh, you should have just got leaner. And I was like, you think I don't have eyeballs, mother? Like, you seriously think I did not see that girl's glute striation? Of course I did. Why do you think I need you and 10 other people to repeat it to me? Mind you, though, I prepped myself into that show, right? Into both those shows. I wanted to do that. That was my decision because at the time I didn't trust anyone else to prep me, because I wanted to use my own protocol because I've been prepping my other clients. And I had just that earlier year, another girl had won 2 overall titles. One of my girls won classic figure and sports, that season A, right? And I was like, right, now I'm going to use this on myself and I'm really going to go to town. I'm going to go to town with this. So I did. And then, you know, I got myself in the position I was in. I'm going to be honest. I always talk to people about this and they're like, how'd you feel about your placings and whatever? And I'm like, I loved my physique. Honestly, in my mind, I was like, I wouldn't change this. I was stoked. I think if I had have looked slightly leaner, I don't like that look.
Pushed it a little
I don't
bit
like
too
that
far,
look for myself.
Yeah.
Like, personally, I think it looks stringy. To me, I think it looks stringy. And I think that the reason why I was awarded pro status with NBA is because they liked my shape. They liked what I brought. They liked the whole package.
Yeah. I mean, I think, again, from sort of like, from speaking with people from both sides, I don't know, I feel like NBA is possibly a little more on the like old school style of competitors.
Yes, especially for figure.
Yeah.
They don't want stringy competitors.
Yeah,
you know?
whereas ICN is, I guess, just more of a newer version of it. It's a different
Very
version.
conditioned.
It's a different version of it. And yeah, from being at the ICN shows, like that was probably the thing that like punched me in the face, was I did not realize
the extreme conditioning.
just how shredded.
But that's their trademark as well, and people have to respect that. I think that you know that there's a lot in the industry about, because people kind of go like, do you have an attitude towards certain federations, etc. And I'm like, do you know what? It's kind of like football teams. It's kind of like, you know what, you want to go for that football team, you go for that football team. But also, it's okay to support more than one, and you can have opinions and ideas.
Yeah.
It's fine.
100%.
But it doesn't change the fact that there were 3 judges on the day that decided that you weren't the one. And that's okay. You need to swallow that. You need to just be okay with that.
Well, the thing is, it's like you've got multiple different federations. You've got multiple different categories inside of those federations.
Marking criteria, yeah.
So all that is, well, which one is best for you?
Yes.
Which one is best for the physique? Like,
that you have.
It's like, well, which one is best for the style of physique you like?
Yes.
For the style of physique you have?
Yeah.
For the style of physique that you feel you can have?
Yes, absolutely.
You've got so many to choose from. It's not this war. It's
it
just,
shouldn't be a
which
cult.
Exactly.
No,
it's just like,
100%.
hey, which one do you think you fit best in?
Yeah.
Hey, maybe you fit well in this one and this one.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
fit well in this one,
100%. and be respectful in that situation. I think honestly, and I actually admitted this I've spoken to both the presidents, and I said to them, man, I was bitter after that. Like I'm so honest. I'm like, I was bitter, but then I'm like, but I owned it. I was like, no, I was bitter. I got upset with myself because I thought I could have got myself leaner.
It's like we're never happy when things don't go the way we want. Like it's like we're not happy when we get second place. Like half the time that's worse than coming in dead last.
Twice.
Yeah, exactly. Like that. Like in a lot of cases, that's worse than flunking it completely because it was so goddamn close. Twice.
But I also know that a certain part of that is that they want to see me come back with like crazy conditioning. And I'm going to be honest, getting second, prepping myself into those shows, mind you, through COVID and everything, like we had numerous lockdowns in that prep. Like there was a 3-day lockdowns. I'm so proud of myself.
Do you think you would prep yourself again, or would you go with the coach?
I'm so on the edge. Honestly, I know this sounds fucked, but like I want people to apply to coach me because I feel like I can't decide, and I can find reasons why I don't want to coach with certain coaches, and it's not because I don't like them. Nothing personal.
And honestly, I would say, like, line up a list of coaches that you want, and like have
shortlist them.
Yeah, we'll try and get them on the podcast.
That's a good idea.
Like, get them on your podcast. Just chat with them and see which one you click.
I'm screening you. No, this is not from a place of ego either. It's not from a like I'm too good. No, none of the above. It's because I'm neurotic, and it's because I'm a control freak, and if I was to see the way that they did, I practiced this, right? So I'm a comp prep coach. If I was to see the way they did something and I didn't agree with it,
that's what I'm saying. Like
it would grind my gears.
Like, I feel like this would be the best. Like, I feel like this is like honestly the most natural way to get to know someone and see. Yeah. Like, fuck, this has been the longest episode that we've had. Like Taylor, who was a camera guy, he was the longest that we've had before this. And this has blown that way out of the water.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the conversation just clicks and it can flow because there's a lot in common and there's a lot of just common interests. Yeah. So I feel like, the ability to actually have that with someone, especially, in a sense, but you're not doing it in a narcissistic way. You're not doing it in an odd way. It's literally just like, hey, do we click?
I'd love to have another male coach, honestly, but it sounds weird, but I'd go back to my old coach. And he's one of the smartest men that I've ever met in my life. Like, hands down, so freaking intelligent.
There's just something sexy about a good brain.
He's a good dude, and he's jacked. Like he actually won his he just competed for the first time in years, and he actually won his height category for Queensland IFBB. So he's a bodybuilder, and he's 6'5". Like he's a big boy. He's a big boy, but he's also very gentle and very sweet and very kind. And the interesting thing is that people think when he coached me that he would have been the one that's hard on me. Other way around. So I was hard on myself and he was gentle with me, and he would tell me, go easy on yourself, and he'd be the person going, it's okay, you can get through another day, because I needed that hard but soft relationship with him, but also too someone who wasn't going to baby me, because I would be at a point in prep where I was dragging my feet, my heart rate started slowing down, and like it was pretty bad. One of my preps, the second prep I went through with him, and he said to me, like, Mariah, you need to tell me this stuff, because, he's like, why don't you tell me? I was like, like, I'm just going to get through it. And he's like, no, you need to tell me, like, your vision's not great. And I was like, oh, okay, my vision's not great. He's like, right, now we're taking a diet break. Thank you for communicating with me. So I'm very much like a dude. Like, I'm very stoic, and I'm like, I'll go through a prep.
Just going to get it done.
I'd rather die, right? Like, I would just be like, no, like, I'll drive my heels into the ground. So I'd need another coach like that, but I'd either go back to him or prep myself, or if there was a male coach out there who thought he can take me on, then sure, like let's get it. But I've had numerous offers. Like I've had male coaches that I know that have said like, I'd love to prep you, and I'm like, would you? Because,
can you handle it?
Well, I'm not awful. I'm actually the opposite. I'm very low maintenance, but I tend to push further with my health condition. I tend to push further than I should.
Yeah. So it's really just like finding someone that you can actually trust, who will know when to pull the pin, but not pull it too early, in a sense. Like to be able to give that reality check when it's needed, and to be able to actually, notice the signs and give that voice of reason that you can actually listen to, appreciate and understand, not feel like you're being talked down to or talked onto. Yeah,
100%. And that's the other thing too. Like with the conditioning coming into show, I don't think a lot of people know or knew that my immune condition affects my ability to push myself to that level because of the impacts that it has on my body.
Man, you're coming into that with after eating disorders and and with immune disorders, like
Yeah.
the ability to get down to that to start with for a normal person is ridiculous. You start adding in any form of variable factor,
Yeah.
and it makes it tenfold harder. You start throwing in multiple
Stresses.
of them.
Yeah.
It's like
7.5% body fat was the lowest I got to in the last prep, and that was pinch test, you name it.
yeah.
And I maintained all my muscle mass. So this
Still,
again prepped myself. Kept all the muscle mass. Got down to that lower body fat. I store a lot of my excess in my legs, and the fluid goes straight there as well. So I'm that person. If I'm on my feet for any longer than half an hour, boom, fills up straight away. It's just, there's nothing you can do. You can't take diuretics as a natty, right? Like, you just can't. So I have to. My first time on stage is my only chance at making an impact.
Your pump up is literally laying down, just doing.
I can't do anything to my legs. Yeah, because they're just very sensitive. But that's, again, the immune condition sees that I do hold more fluid than the average person. So I'm working against the grain here. Like, there's a lot that goes into it that goes far beyond what people are wanting to assume about me as well. And that's people get they get the thumbnail of my life and who I am as a person. And then when you do the deep dive, I think it changes. It changes the perspective. So there you go. I think that's all I've got.
I very much, I think, that pretty much will wrap this one up there, just because, holy shit, that was one hell of a.
Do you want to write a book from this? Do you want to take this and write a book?
We'll have one of the squires transcribe it. It'll be spread across the lands for everyone who has ever felt shit about themselves, who just needs to get a kick up the ass for a minute. But no, that was awesome. I mean, legitimately, like, both the cameras have died already.
Oh, yeah, I was just looking at the cameras for no reason.
Yeah, well, so, no, this one was only about half an hour ago, so it hasn't been too many. This one died a while back, but I was like, well, I already know this one's rolling still, and realistically, you're the main star. I don't really matter.
It's fine.
So there is going to be a bit of a fade to black. I was like, the conversation's flowing way too much for me to stop and try and switch out batteries, so audio was rolling the entire time, which is fantastic. So I'll just put up it'll be like a photo of me and a photo of Mariah, we'll just pop in between.
Even if
you're a bit creative with it, perhaps.
Even if you're I think the last bit was talking about self prep. So if you want to use some of my prep images, go ahead.
If you've got some, shoot them over.
Oh man, do I have some prep images?
Yeah, even if you've got some photos from the earlier preps and stuff, like just to show that transition and how that came across. Yeah, shoot them over. I'll be more than happy to put them in there. I think that'd be dope.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it's actually kind of odd. Oh, funny that you mentioned the physio and recovery side of things before. Just because our channel partner, our channel sponsor in a sense, the Body Collective.
Oh.
So
I love that.
Yeah, so we are actually partnered with the Body Collective. At the end of the day, recovery is a massive thing that sort of gets neglected by a lot of people.
Like nutrition does, absolutely.
Exactly. However, physio can be a rather expensive one a lot of the time. So partnering up with, Fraser and Mon out there, fantastic people into the bodybuilding scene. They compete themselves. They absolutely love it. So as a bit of a thank you for guests that do come onto our show, they would also like to offer you a free pass to go and get a corrections fix.
I love that.
Fix up with the team out there. So
that's really sweet.
Yeah, I'll shoot you over the
please.
details on Instagram, and then it's literally just shoot them a message.
Yeah.
See what sort of works for you, and then at some point, whenever you're down this way, for yourself, I know that you do have a bit of travel, unfortunately. So
yes,
it would
we all do.
Be a later one because they're working out a macro route at the moment.
Okay.
So Outer Worlds out there.
Yeah.
But friggin' awesome people. I'll shoot through their details.
Yes, please. Then, love that.
But thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for listening to my shit.
A damn good chat. Because again, you said earlier today that you actually you've been wanting to come on.
Yeah.
Since when?
I guess since you launched your podcast.
Really? I'm still surprised when someone actually comes up to me and they're like,
I want to be on your podcast.
Yeah. They're like, I love the podcast. I listen to the podcast. I'm like, holy shit, there's people that listen.
It is crazy. I got an email the other day from Spotify, and I just launched the podcast 2 weeks ago, and it was like your podcast has had over 2,000 plays or some shit. And I was like, but I was just, you know, it's small and it went in all downloads. I can't remember what it was. My brain was like, people want to listen to my podcast. You know, it is, but still to this day, I don't think it ever changes. You know, every time I get a sign up, it's crazy. But someone comes onto my website or someone from the US, you know, messages me or whatever it might be, or what, you know, people go, sometimes people meet me in person at an event and they're like, I wanted to meet you for so long. And these weird lines like that where they're like, are you Mariah? I've wanted to meet you for so long. I'm not kidding. But it's not.
Bruh, I was training with a friend and someone come up to me and was like, are you Fit Focus Media?
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's not like you're not like a, you know, you're not like a fucking famous TikToker or a YouTuber. It's not that. It's just that it's just really cool that people you haven't met want to meet you.
It's a cool feeling.
It's a nice feeling because you're like, oh wow, okay, I'm making an impact enough for that to have reached that person.
See, the thing I also find really, I guess, interesting is like, say with Instagram, it's like if a video doesn't perform well on Instagram, I look at the number and I'll just look at the number and I'll like the number will get to me a bit. And I'll feel shit about the number. I go to say like Spotify or I go to the podcast and I look at the numbers and I'm like the number is like tiny in comparison to like say like the Instagram reels. And I'm like, fuck yeah.
It means a lot.
Yeah, it's like it actually feels like a genuine person.
Yeah.
And like someone took time out of their day to listen to a conversation or to be involved in a chat or, you know, a community in a sense versus Instagram. I don't know, it just feels like so fake. A lot of like
you got to think about this, right? Instagram is based on visual imagery and 30 seconds or 15-second snapshot of somebody's life, right? Whereas a podcast is, I mean, we've discovered today is limitless.
Yeah, well, I mean, currently we've recently ticked over the 3 hour mark.
Fuck yeah. I feel like we're doing, it's like one of those live streams that you know, you see people like sit in for and you're like, hey, if you're still here.
Oh, 100%. I'm just like, I was just like watching it go up and go up and I'm like, fuck. How is this still flowing so well?
Welcome to chat.
I feel like there was still like a lot of, like we didn't even touch into a lot of topics at all. It was just, we went deep into a couple and deep into a couple.
You could create 3 podcasts out of this, really.
100%. Marketing with Mariah, here we go. Hey, Hayden, by the way, when you're going through doing sound bites for this one, I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry.
R.I.P.
Yeah. It's going to take a while.
He meets me and slaps me across the face.
Well, see, sound bites are annoying because you got to do, like realistically, like, you have to do...
You have to listen to the whole thing.
You have to do the whole edit. So, like, when I do the edit, I have to listen to the whole thing. So, this can take me probably 4 or 5 hours to edit. Because I have to do multicam switching the whole way through it. And then after that's done, I have to do audio effects and audio editing.
Yeah.
Then once that's done, the main video, you have to like put into another timeline, go through, cut out the actual sound bites that you're after. So you've got those markers. Then you have to drop those, like after they're exported, drop them into another timeline where you can reformat to vertical. And then you have to go through and cut out like any of the silences, the ums and the ers, so that you can condense it down as quick as possible. So that way it's just more like to the point and they're not like dragging out too long. Then you have to put in your like title animations and like edit them. Then you have to put in like your social animations and make sure they all line up. Then you have to export them. Then you have to do that for every single one of the sound bites that you've made. Then when you put it into Instagram, you then have to do your captions and you have to make sure that the captions are written correctly. Finally, just to press post and maybe get a couple views on it. Actually, to be fair, the soundbite, the one, we've only done one soundbite post from Jackson Tippett so far, and that one actually did really well and people really liked it. So I think like for us, it was I think in total around like 15,000, and on his it was another like 25,000-30,000.
Yeah.
So soundbites actually, I feel like, you know, do have the potential to do really well on there.
Yeah.
And there's been a hell of a lot of good things in this conversation, so
yeah,
I'm sure people will love it. But thank you everyone for listening to the show and watching it before. It's actually kind of nice not having to worry about the camera right now because I can get nice and just
comfortable,
nice and crisp.
Just
the microphone for this.
And you feel like you don't have to suck your belly in too. Like
we're not gonna lie, my back is fucked up. Sitting here for 3 hours. And I can't imagine how you're feeling because that couch is not the most comfortable. I'm sorry for that.
That's all right. I have to quickly before we go. I have to plug my socials and my website because my VA will kill me if I don't.
100%.
So you know, just make sure that you pop by and listen to my podcast as well, Fit Space Minds, MINDS, by Mariah Jean Fit. It's literally called Fit Space Minds. There's another one.
Where can they find that?
There's another one called Fit Minds, but it's connected. So mine's better because it's 2 different words, because that makes sense. No, I actually really like the other podcast as well. It's called Fit Space Minds. The link is actually in my bio on Instagram, and my Instagram is Mariah Jean Fit, and pretty much everything else is Mariah Jean Fit. So my Facebook, my website is mariahjeanfit.com. Mariah is spelled MARIAH because for some reason people think I'm called Maria. I don't know why.
Nice.
And we also have TikTok. We have Mariah Jean Fit TikTok as well. We have everything. We've got YouTube.
Hey,
Mariah Jean Fit
nice.
YouTube too, which has got the video version of my podcast.
Yep.
So yeah.
Because yeah, for anyone who is watching this on like the video platforms, so say YouTube, although we do actually upload the videos to Spotify as well. So if you're on Spotify, you can still watch the video. Pretty much, I would have already put it up there, but we'll have like a little animation that goes up for all of Mariah's socials. That way you can see them, make sure they're spelled correctly. If you are listening by audio though, just re-listen to that and get it freaking right.
Yes.
Go check them out.
Yes, check them out.
So if you have any questions for Mariah or our team, please do feel free to let us know down below in the comments. If you found this useful, please do consider giving it a like, a share, all that sort of good stuff. And if you heard something in here that you think could be useful for someone else, do us a favor and give it a share to them. Because at the end of the day, we're just here to try and help people as much as possible. And the best way for these sorts of things to grow is by word of mouth. So thank you guys. You're awesome. And have a good one. Gotta leave it a little thick. Hey, hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did find something useful, please do share it with someone else you think could find it useful as well. If you're over on Spotify, please do leave a review as well. If you're over on YouTube, consider dropping a subscribe, a like, a comment, and all that good stuff. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.